Would you say also that your parents, you said they probably wouldn't be the most pleased, right? Why? Why do you think that? Why do you think they wouldn't like it?
Because, work is still taboo and stuff, and it's understandable. Like, for example, if I had a daughter, who started doing this at the age of 18, I wouldn't be happy with it either. I would actually try to guide her to do away from it. But Well,
doesn't that give you an intuition then that what you're doing is wrong?
No, it's not about doing what's wrong or right. What matters is a lot of people jump into this without really knowing the consequences. And of course, every action has its own consequences, right?
Well, I don't understand. What would you tell your daughter to avoid other than this that isn't wrong?
What do you mean that isn't wrong?
Well, so, I mean, would you tell your daughter to avoid things which are good?
Like, for
or do you
example,
only tell her to avoid things which are bad?
I would actually try to advise her on a lot about the pathway she should pick, right? Like, for example, I could advise her on, hey, you should do this major instead of this major. You should probably go to college. You should do this and that. She should weigh out all of her options.
Yeah, right. Sure. But assuming for a second that she said, I want to get a degree in photography rather than a degree in social science or something like this.
Okay.
You wouldn't necessarily say that getting a degree in photography was bad.
I wouldn't say doing sex working
But you would say that
either.
getting a degree not a degree, but engaging in OnlyFans work was bad.
I never said it was bad. I said there's consequences.
You wouldn't say that?
Every action has consequences. I don't think sex working is bad.
You wouldn't tell her it's bad?
No, I would just say, hey, there's a lot of consequences that you will face if you're a sex worker. Be knowledgeable of that. You are going to limit yourself in a lot of cases if you do become a sex worker. So I will advise her on the consequences she will face, but I don't think there's bad.
Well, let's assume for a second, that, and this is a hypothetical, but I just would like to test this.
Okay.
That if you knew that if you said this is bad, it 100% would guarantee she wouldn't do it, would you tell her it was bad then?
No, I would not say it's bad.
No. Okay. Even if that would be the word that would be necessary to get her to not do it and do something else.
No. Children need to have options, right? And it's our parents' job to guide them.
Do they need to have the option to be a sex worker? Do they need that? That doesn't sound like something you need.
Okay, wait. But the thing is,
that's your opinion, right?
Yeah, I know, but no, I don't think it is. I mean, can you make a case?
Here's the deal. We're talking about
somebody
adults,
would
right?
need to be a sex worker? Why does somebody need?
You don't need to do anything. You don't need to even go to college.
Well, then why did you just say they need to?
Trade.
Then that makes no sense.
I didn't say that.
You did.
What did I say?
You literally, that was your argument. Your argument is, I think children need to have options. My counter was, I don't think they need to be sex workers. You said, I think they do need to have the option to be sex workers.
I didn't say they need to have an option to have sex work.
The option
Children
to be a sex
need to be
worker?
presented
Hang on, you gotta let me
with
finish
options.
what I'm saying, or you can't even understand the question.
I'm not going to actually let you just put words into my mouth because I'm going to
That's what
stop
you
you when
said.
you're wrong. That's
Do kids
not what
need to
I
have the
said.
option? Do 18,
That is
19-year-olds need to have the option or
You
not?
need to calm down. That's not what I said. I said
Okay,
it's
what
a
did you
parent's
say?
job to provide them with guidelines to different options that they have, right? So if they come to you and say, hey, I'm considering sex working, it is an option they're considering, right? And it is your job to guide them and to be like, hey, you're an adult, I understand, but here are the options and here are the consequences. Hey, you considering sex working? This might limit you. Why don't you actually try to go to college, see how you like it, maybe get a corporate job or something, and then as an adult, once you face all the other decisions and all the other choices, if you still want to do sex working, it is what it is.
Chris donated $200. Thank you, panel, for standing up to Andrew. I would not have my panel of side chicks if it wasn't for women like you co-signing the BS that I told them. You are helping us rich guys bangs girls on BC.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Speaking of birth control, wait, Andrew, is it all right if I move this along, or do you want?
I just want to finish this real quick.
Okay.
I just last point.
Okay.
So you do think that women need to have the option to be sex workers if they want? They need that, or no?
I'm not going to use the word need. I feel like you're trying to put words into my mouth.
That's why I'm asking you. That would be the opposite of me putting words in your mouth by asking you. Do you think they need that option or not?
They can have that option. They don't need.
I know.
You don't
Do you
need
think
to do
they need
anything.
it?
You don't need to go to college.
Yeah.
You don't need to marry. You don't need.
Right.
You don't need to do anything, right?
So we don't need to give people the option to be prostitutes. Like, we don't need to do that.
There is an option and still working.
Yeah, I know. There's a difference between is and ought, though. I don't know if you know that.
I understand that you would probably, if it was up to you, you would like try to implement like a policies and stuff like that. That's fine. That you do you get your morality through religion. I understand. Blah blah blah.
How
but
do you
that's
know?
Not, I'm just assuming.
Why?
You seem like
Because
a
you watched a
religious
bunch of
person.
shit. You watched a bunch of clips about me. Is that why?
I actually didn't. I actually didn't know about you before that. I'm
Then
not
why
gonna
did you?
lie.
Why did you assume I've made a religious argument the entire evening?
Because the way you talked about sex working, the way you talked about sex.
Yeah, but why would that
Am I
require
wrong?
religion?
Wait, no. Hold on. Am I wrong? Do you not
No,
derive your
but,
morality
but
through
I'm
religion?
I'm asking a different question, which is why assume that if I've
People
never, if
can
I haven't made a
assume
religious
things, like
argument the
it's an
I
entire
can
opinion.
evening?
assume things about you. You can just like you assume things about me. That's fine.
Couldn't,
so you
couldn't
can
he make a
correct
secular
me.
argument?
Yeah, I've
But
made
hold on, he
nothing
can
but
correct
secular
me, right?
arguments.
You can correct me and be like, no, Bella, you're wrong. I don't derive my morality
You
through
guys-
religious
Yeah,
reasons.
but there's no reason to correct you. I'm just asking why you assumed it.
Then
That's
I
just for
assumed
me.
correctly.
It's not a trick. It's like literally not a trick question. I'm just curious.
No, I understand, but I assumed correctly.
Yeah, I know, but why though? That's my question.
Yeah, what's your point?
Why did you make the assumption?
Because when you were debating with her in regards to morality and stuff, you were basing your moral arguments based on religion. So.
No, I didn't. I never made a religious argument. In fact, it was an internal critique of consequentialism, which I don't even believe in, to try to make a comparison between if the consequence of this is the same as the consequence of this, why wouldn't you support it? That makes no sense. Had nothing to do with religion at all.
Okay, then am I still right though that you drive your
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
morality through
you are correct. I'm
religion?
religious. I'm just
Yeah.
curious as to why you assumed it. That's all.
The reason why I assumed it just based on your arguments, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you assume
Very
generally that
long-winded way,
people who are
isn't
against
he, of
sex
answering
work are?
that? It's her
Well, the re-
opinion. She assumed
Let me get.
it,
Let me get.
end
Hang on.
of.
Let me get at why I think this because.
Sorry, repeat that.
Do you think it's because people generally who are against sex work are religious?
Did you say people who do sex work
Wait,
are
guys, can
typically
you
No,
please
people who are against
a
it.
few more, please, both of you.
Yeah.
Let's,
I'm
let's
almost
move this
done.
forward.
I just want to know this last thing. Is it because you think that people who generally are against sex work are religious?
people who are generally in sex work are not religious? They might be spiritual, but they don't
All
necessarily
right.
align themselves
never
with
mind.
specific religion.
I don't even think you understand what I'm saying. But we'll move it along.
I just think I'm not saying what you want me to say, so you're just saying that.
No, I mean, I asked a completely different question.
seem to reword
the
the
question that I
same
asked
thing.
is
Okay,
people
say
who
it
are
again. I'll
against.
try to
You got to
listen
stop
to you.
talking. You can't hear.
Okay, say it again.
People who you got to stop talking. You can't hear what I'm saying.
Why not?
People who are against sex work are generally religious, not people who engage in it who are against it. People who are not for it
I see
are
what you mean.
usually religious. Do you understand?
Not typically. Like I feel like there's actually more non-religious people in today's day and age, and they consider sex working to be a taboo.
All right.
So not everyone who's against sex work is a religious person, but I guess all the religious people would be against sex work. Does that answer your question?
Okay, cool.